Okay, my name is Kuro, and today I'm going to show you this little light meter that I built from a YouTube video, and it is a really powerful thing, and I think it is fairly accurate for the price because you can get the cheapest light meter for photography use. I found it's about $50 or $45 here, so that's not really that cheap. So it is based on Arduino, a small photo sensor, an I2C OLED, and a rotary encoder. The original video will be linked in the video description. He 3D printed the box and has a light dome, which I don't have. So it is only good for reflected light, not the direct light or whatever it's called. But you can, and I found that you can buy these domes from AliExpress, light sensor ball, whatever. But I would probably have to calibrate it a little bit or something. So this project is really only suitable for reflected light, and if you want, you can adapt it probably quite easily to be the indirect light or whatever from directly from the light source. So let's go over what you need to actually program the Arduino and whatnot. Everything you need is in this repository. All the libraries needed, the written tutorial, and of course the sketch itself. And I did a few last second changes, and I'll go over what are those. Okay, so here's the link to the original repository. What you need Arduino Uno or Nano or any other type with Atmega 328P. That's like the most classic Arduino chip, and of course it needs to have the bootloader in that, so you can program it with the Arduino IDE. Then you'll need I2C OLED 128 by 64 pixels, and it has to be this screen, and it has to be I2C. There's SPI, and that won't work. Then you need a rotary encoder with switch / button and Adafruit TSL2591, and you can either buy it directly from Adafruit for about $7, or I found it actually on AliExpress, but I think it was actually a few dollars more expensive, but it does not have these connectors, but I think you can actually desolder them and you don't have to use them. Do not buy the 2561 sensor, because that's actually the sensor the first video from this guy is featuring somewhere here. This is the first video, and he's using the 2561, but he changed it to the 2591, and the sketch is using only this and this only, so do not buy this one. The connections are quite easy. The OLED is marked with 4 distinct pins. VCC always goes to 5 volts, ground goes to ground, the SCL goes to A5, and SDA goes to A4. The rotary encoder will have exactly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pins. VCC goes to 5 volts, ground to ground. Switch will go to digital pin 3, that's the click button. DT to A1 and clock to A0. If you find like the little module with these markings, it will work 100%. And lastly, the third thing, the TSL2591 sensor. VCC goes to 5 volts, ground goes to ground, SCL goes to A5, and SDA goes to A4. It is also a I2C device. There will be like 2 pins not connected to anything. That's to change the address if you are using more of these sensors, or to change the mode from 5 volts to 3.3 volts. But we are using 5 volts and we are using the default address. Software changes, there are no changes for the rotary encoder or the light sensor. However, there might be a change for the OLED depending on where you buy it, and it is online. It's not online 5:30, it is online. It is online 5:30 right now. This is subject to change if I do more digging in the code. And that's for the OLED. And the OLEDs might have different addresses. Mine has 3C, but the default is 3D, so you'll need to look for this line and change the address for the correct one. If you can't find the address of your screen, you connect the screen itself to the pins like this. You open the Arduino IDE, you go to File, you go to Examples, and you'll go all the way down, and there's a wire. In the wire, you go to I2C scanner, you upload this, and you open the serial monitor somewhere here. This little window. And what this will do is it will try all the addresses, and if it finds the address of the screen, it will put it there, and you just change it to that. But it should be one or the other. There won't be many other probably. For the libraries, all libraries are now included, including the dependencies. Previously I had to download the GFX library from the manager, but because it can change and whatnot, I think it's better to include every single one of them. In the state I use them because it worked for me, it should work for you. If the screen is still not working correctly and is displaying some kind of weirdness, I changed, and it is the library here included, this one. In the adafruit underscore ssd1306.h file, I uncommented on line 28 define ssd1306 underscore 128 underscore 64, and on line 29 I disabled this line, because what it did for me before, it would draw one line, then nothing, then like the second line, then nothing, then the third line, and whatnot, and half the screen was somewhere, I don't know where. But now it's fixed, and the screen is displaying correctly. If you have problem, you try this, and if you still have problem, use Google, because I can't help everyone, I'm sorry. Case, I just used project box. I wanted to print something, and I might in the future, but as of now I won't. Custom shutter speeds and ISOs, that is something that I did as the very last change right now, and I think it's super easy. You just go to the sketch, you go to the line 400, which is this one, and if you want to add your own film speed, because you have a weird film, like for example FOMA Retropan, which is 320 ISO box speed, so you just, or let's say we have another film that is 350, so you see what I mean. So you add 350 here. You don't forget the colon. Then you have to update this, because this is just how many numbers are in the array. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, blah blah blah. So now it's 17. So you change this to 17. If you want to add shutter speeds, again it is on this line right now, for 16. And again it is simple. If you want to add fractions of a seconds, that means 1 over something, you add your desired number here. So for example, my digital camera goes to 4 thousandths of a second, so I can do 4 thousandths. And now I need to again update the define. So now it is 22 numbers in the first row. If I want to add minutes, for example, I want to add 120 minutes, 120 minutes, I sure can. Don't forget this, and you again just add 1 for minutes, and that's all you have to do to change these two things. For f-stops, it goes all the way from like 0 to 99, and that is for the one of the modes. There's a mode that just show you the f-stops rounded to the closest third, but changing that is, I don't know, I don't think it is necessary really, and I would just use the precise mode. I'll show you what I mean in a second. So this is everything you need to understand the code or update the things yourself. Of course, if you don't know how to add libraries, it is in project add libraries or manage libraries, I don't know what's it in English, and there's the second option, add zip library. You click that and you just add the libraries one by one, and then you select your board, your COM port, and hit upload, and everything should upload correctly. That's all, and this is the original text from the original repository. So now let's see how everything is doing. So when you first boot this up, you should go to the menu, and to the menu you go to double click. The ISO will start blinking, then you double click again, the shutter speed will start blinking, then you again double click, there will be a little cog which unfortunately is obstructed because the hole is too small. You single click, and now you are in the setup. In the setup you have display, which with click you can change to standard, that will round the f-stops. Lux, which will just show how much light is there, and then what I will use most of the time is the precise, which just shows the f-stop in decimal place. Then you can turn to get to the lower. Oops, it is not that responsive, but I don't think it matters that much because you won't be in the setup too many times. And then polling, I just use slow, which is like the highest quality, and that's everything that you need to really change. And you need to set these two when you first upload the sketch, because there's nothing in the EEPROM and it won't show any f-stops. It will just show the ISO and the shutter speed, but when you try to meter, it will be blank. Then gain is for like low light situations, never use that really. Sleep mode, I have it off because I'm not running batteries, but if you are running batteries, you should put some kind of value there. Again, you changed it with clicking 5 seconds sleep, 10 seconds sleep, 15 seconds, 20, 30, I think there's goes to 60 and then it goes to off. Oh, 90, okay, it's more enough. Good. And there's last one, and that's battery info again, only useful if you are running batteries. Now it's just, you know, reading the voltage from the Arduino, so I have it on off. And last turn will put us to exit, so we can click exit, and now we are again in what we'll be using most of the time. So with double click we can change ISO, and there are the ISOs already predefined, or you can add your own like I showed you a few minutes ago. So let's see, something reasonable, 400, okay. Then we can double click and change the shutter speed, and as you can see now we are in the fractions. And of course we can take a measurement right now, even when the shutter speeds are blinking. So this is very useful for especially film photography, because you just put your film, you set your ISO here, and then you can just change your shutter speeds as you really need. So let's say it goes to seconds, then it will go to minutes. Yes, 1 minute right now. It will really slow down because it's crunching probably with 0, or you know, there's some kind of overflow going, and the Arduino is not really made for that. So, and the code, it's clunky, but it's working, and it's not written by me, so I don't mind. It is working for the purpose that I wanted it. And then there are FPS, which are for film cameras, not photo cameras, but film cameras. And then it will take us back to the fractions of a second. Okay, now we are back. So this is pretty much everything you'll need to know. I just need a nice knob for my encoder, and if you are enclosing it in a box, make sure that the hole is big enough for the sensor, because if you have small hole it will read bad, so that's not good. So big hole for small sensor. And like I said, it is only good for the reflective reading. If you want like read the light source, you need dome like that. That's on normal light meters. And all in all, if I don't count this, and even if I count this, it is $2 basically. This looks very similar, and in fact I would say it is exactly the same. And look how much it costs. It's $50, and then there's this one that's slightly dumber or smaller or whatever. That's $5 less. And all these things combined, if you buy it from AliExpress, the Arduino Uno, I know that I bought the Nano for like $1 or maybe $2. The I2C display I could buy for probably again $1. Whoops, you can have a look. Let's see. Yeah, this one's probably okay. The original. This looks like 128 by 64. Yeah, $2. So that's $4. The rotor encoder would be probably yeah, I like $1. There might be some with a nice breakout board, maybe. Clock D. Yeah, this looks like ground plus. Okay, like $2, whatever. That's $8, and then $6 or $8 for the sensor itself. So that's what, another 8. So 6 plus 8, it's 14, plus some kind of project box that could be like $3, so or $4. So let's round it to $20, and it works perfectly fine. So yes, that's pretty much all from me. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time. Bye.